Analyst as by Dignitas jungler Crumbzz. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
Now, of course, we got to talk a little bit about your matchup versus Alliance in the Battle of the Atlantic over in Europe. What have you guys learned from that performance?
Playing against Alliance, we were a relatively new team with two new players, essentially, going against them. So it was more of a debut match for us, and we really took it a bit hard upon ourselves to get destroyed by them, basically. So looking in after that match, you really have to do a rework of your team. Think about how you're thinking about the game, and obviously it hasn't been working for a past split, how we've been viewing the game. So we basically sat down, had a long chat about what we want to do, and basically scratch everything and start from new. And that will be how we're going to get back into shape.
Yeah, and actually, I saw you guys posted that you're bringing your analyst full-time into the house with you guys to help you guys work up. And honestly, as Dig, you've been one of my favorite teams to watch in terms of innovation. Just at the end of the regular season, you guys ran Pantheon to beat CLG right at the end there. Like, you guys have a lot of fun things to bring out. I'm excited for what you guys do in 2014.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the things that we're going to focus on primarily. It's basically how we view the game in terms of innovation, because that's what we did when we were at our best. We just brought out what we thought was good and just completely ignored the meta to a sense. So we're going to try to do that once more, and I think we're going to be able to really hit our stride again.
Nice.
When you talk about that innovation, bringing that, how much do you think you'll be able to do that with Kiwi Kid as support, and of course the totally new factor, Cruiser in the top lane?
I think a big part of bringing something creative to the game comes in having fun with it as well. Not just, and with the new lineup that we have, we're bonding more as a team of 5. So it's basically 5 friends being able to play the game and just have fun with it. And you can sort of blend in a style of having fun as well as playing what you think is good and giving it your best. And I think that's what we're going to look for in terms of getting a winning team again.
Maybe I can ask you as well, what do you think of your own performance in that first matchup?
Against Alliance, my performance wasn't good at all for my standards, and I think what happened was I overcompensated for what I thought was going to happen, and I didn't get to play what I wanted, how I wanted to play that matchup. And you know, I thought what would happen would be I'd make mistakes here, and then I'd say counter gank at certain places, and I just try to make up too much, try to force too much, because I basically felt panicked in terms of what we had to do to win the game. And when you're panicked, you're not thinking clearly, and you go too fast, you're not patient enough, and I think that really is what lost us.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's a point I want to bring up as well in the 2014 season. There's, in the jungle especially, there's a lot more emphasis on farming, sort of the Meteor style, if you will. Yeah. I know you're a player who, throughout Season 3, loved to take a lot of time to set up ganks, get over walls, do a bunch of crazy stuff just to get that kill to happen. Is your playstyle changing to getting more camps and being more of a carry throughout the game?
I actually don't think the new jungle is better suited for farm-heavy junglers. I think ganking more is now the way to go, because games tend to snowball, but then you need a very big lead to be able to close them out due to the inhibitor changes and the gold earning, being able to get levels back even if you fall behind in the jungle, because creeps scale with level. So I think that being able to gank more is beneficial for your team, because even if you fail these ganks, you can just go back to farming to catch up and then go right back at it to keep farming, to keep ganking. So I think that's a style that we're going to see, and that's what you see at the junglers that people are playing. You know, you see Vi, you see Elise, Evelynn, all these heavy gank junglers. So I don't think that's more the farming is something that is the meta right now, but I definitely see it as a viable play style that you can pull off, and we'd definitely most likely see it with Cloud9.
Cool. It'll be very interesting to see that develop. And of course, the jungler matchup is something that's also very important in the upcoming match, CLG versus Alternate, as CLG is playing with their European jungle. How do you think that matchup is going to go?
That matchup is a battle of 2 European junglers. So coming from an NA jungler, it's difficult to judge how these 2 players play. You know, going into it, European fans will definitely know what to expect from these games. Now, we've had the luxury of scrimming Alternate while we were in Cologne, and they looked like a strong team, but we have not played against CLG. And Dexter has been a jungler that, when Lemon Dogs was hitting their stride and they're on top of the LCS, he was doing work all around. He was playing exceptionally well and ganking and making plays for his team everywhere. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him try to pull the same thing off against Alternate and be heavily influential in terms of ganks and map pressure all around. But I also think that Alternate jungler, RNA, is going to be able to do the same thing. You know, he also likes to play these gank-heavy junglers. He plays Lee Sin, he plays Vi, Elise. We have two junglers with basically the same champion pool going at it, and I think both are going to be able to get plenty of ganks off, and it's just going to be who can get objectives after it, because getting ganks usually don't mean anything, so it's basically who's going to be able to put themselves in a position to get more than the gank, because I'm sure both of these junglers are at the caliber to get the gank off, but it's what you can do after it that's going to matter.
I actually think from a team standpoint as well, I think Counterlogic Gaming is in a really good spot because for the first time since May 2012, they've got an actual jungler in the jungle role. And to me, that's actually really important. I mean, you know as a pro jungler yourself, there's a lot of new things you have to learn just for the jungle specifically. It's a very complex role, and so I think just having a player like Dexter there who already intuitively understands the role is going to help CLG tremendously.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting matchup to watch. And for now, we've got to take a quick break.